Hey everyone. So I have a founding member with us. Her name is Elizabeth Wright. And you
Right.
know, Reich,
Correct.
Reich.
Yes.
All right, starting over. Three, two, one. Okay. Hey everybody. So welcome to this episode, I guess, where we're talking about our three, two, one. Sorry. Hey guys, so we've got with us a featured artist. Her name is Elizabeth Reich. She is a watercolor artist and a founding member of the Positive Painters. And so she's been with me for a long time, and I'm really excited. She is probably well, anybody that I've featured here has grown so much in the course of time that I've known them, and they just keep on chugging away in an industry that is very unforgiving and in an industry that is really hard to get a foothold in. But once you finally do, you start to move really, really well. So she is really just plugging away, doing everything that she can, and still has so much going on, like so many artists out there. And so she is a true inspiration to many of us here in the community. And I hope she's an inspiration to you too. So with that, I'm going to let Elizabeth introduce yourself. And if you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit about your history and kind of how you came to be an artist. It wasn't your field in the very beginning, right?
No, it was not. It was from leaving a partnership that I was in a moment of needing to ask what the next steps were. And I kind of asked my 8-year-old self, what would you do? And watercolor was the answer. And I grabbed the next class, and that was in fall of 2014. And uh, the rest is the journey started from there. Um, and I am a transplant to Huntsville, Alabama from New England, and picked up taking an art history degree at UAH. Graduated from that in 2005. So my journey is very meandering.
Aren't we all? So, that's
Yes,
awesome.
very much so.
So you've taken up watercoloring. What is your favorite subject to paint?
Flowers, definitely flowers. You can find them in still life and landscaping. There's pattern design, which is something I just started getting into a year ago. They're I find them very inspirational and certainly relaxing to look at. I've always been one to study their shapes and the light and shadow play of them, even as a child.
Wow. So I know I'm a follower of yours as well, and I've noticed over the last year or so you've come out with monthly flowers. So I'm going to ask the question, do you have a favorite flower?
The one flower I haven't managed to paint and like, the iris.
Oh, your
Uh,
iris is your favorite.
that's my favorite, and I keep trying to paint it, and I haven't managed to paint one that I really like.
Hmm. That must be, yeah, I could see that. And since it's your favorite, you want it to just sing when you paint it. I can see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to come out a certain way, and I just haven't gotten there yet.
Ah, well, I know you will. So I was going to ask, kind of in the day-to-day aspect of being an artist now, what advice would you give to an artist who doesn't have a lot of time to commit to their art because of job and family demands? And I know this, personally from you and I, this is a topic that is of high value to those of us with kids and parents and all these things that we're taking care of. So what advice would you give to someone if they don't have a lot of time to commit?
At least make the art, because without the art, there's no art business. So at least make the art, and then when there is more time to commit, then work on the business side of things. Um, and do your best that when you have a business, not to let the admin fall behind, because once it falls behind, it's really hard to catch up. And that's the pitfall I've recently found myself in. is I let the admin fall behind, and that has become a project instead of a day-to-day thing to do.
Okay, good, good. So, in connecting with the art world, I know that you belong to several groups, but how do you stay connected? What are some other connections that you've made in the art world that really kind of help bring everything back to you that helps you in your career?
It's belonging to several groups. I
Mhm.
mean, belonging to the Positive Painters is a lot to do with the business side and kind of a mastermind group that I think all artists need. Belonging to ALWCA is more understanding women in arts, and then having a community I can belong to that is a focus on watercolor, so I can kind of keep a sense of what others are doing, what materials might be out there, techniques and whatnot. And now I'm starting to try to find some pattern design groups because that's an area of interest as well. So it's feeling like a little much because, I've kind of branched out in a couple of different ways, but it's trying to be, or I guess you could say it's trying to find all aspects, and finding all aspects of my business are in multiple communities. So it's just finding each, little nugget and trying to fit them into the day
Okay.
or the course of a month.
So I know you belong to us, the Positive Painters, where we
Mhm.
focus on the art business. You mentioned a watercolor and ALWCA, which is Alabama Women's Caucus for the Arts. And then,
Yes.
so I was going to ask so for other artists who are looking to kind of get into the same realm that you're in with watercolor and perhaps even surface pattern design, what communities are you finding beneficial for those segments?
Um, the watercolor has been a little bit more difficult because I was part of Angela Fair's community. I stepped out of her paid community and was doing her Facebook, and that has since closed down. So I am kind of searching and seeking out another watercolor community to replace that. And in regards to pattern design, I'm finding Sarah Watts, who does Photoshop, to be the community I need at the moment.
Excellent. Okay, I'll be sure to add those resources in the show notes too here.
Okay.
Okay. That's great. Um, so kind of getting your artwork out there. Do you have any shows coming up or are you focused solely on social media? What do you have coming in the pipeline to help market your art?
I'm focusing on social media, print on demand, and recently I gained the opportunity to have my art featured at the Chocolate Gallery here in Southeast Huntsville on Whitesburg Drive, where they're selling some of my greeting cards, notebooks, and some stickers.
Oh,
So that is my focus at this point in time.
that's congratulations. That is awesome.
Thank you.
Right. And then, so I'm kind of reading my list over here. So of questions, making sure I hit on everything that's great because I know you're just a wealth of knowledge about all of the things that you've been doing since even 2014. Now with social media, so you're going out on social media. Are there any other opportunities that you're seeking to find new clientele?
I am actually trying to figure out how to network locally so
Mhm.
I can start finding more boutique or small businesses, gift shop types that I might be able to do small manufacturing and offering some more of my products too.
So
But
what is,
that
oh,
on the to-do list.
So what does that look like? Are you like going online? Are you walking around? And then once you identify somebody, how do you approach them?
Like I said, that's on the to-do list, and I am actually trying to figure out how I'm going to do it. I've been trying to listen to ideas for pitching art, like if you were doing licensing. I've been going through my notes from um, Stacy Bloomfield's past creative powerhouse community I belonged to almost 2 years ago now. Kind of digging through some of those notes and trying to figure out what the game plan is. And once I have a feel for it, I think I will be sending emails after I research the different gift shops and boutiques that are around here, um, to see what the response might be. And if I don't get one, then yes, I might hit the pavement and go door to door and show up and say, hi,
It's harder
how
to
do
say,
I get in?
yeah, it's harder to say no when you know
Yes.
the purpose person. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Start out politely and then get a little pushy, I guess.
Good for you. So what are your actual long-term goals for your art business?
Long term is what I view as a three-legged stool of income streams, focusing on that print on demand, selling the print on demand to boutiques and gift shops, and trying to figure out how I'm going to sell my original art. Because I tend to enjoy, while I make patterns, I enjoy making paintings as well, that are more on the fine art side. So I'm trying to figure out how I can sell and exhibit those. So that's the big goal in regards to the business side. For the art side, it is continuing to develop my pattern making skills and bringing in my interest in collage and needlework, um, and get back to more floral still lifes with all of that mixed in.
Uh,
Um, Try to anchor some of those florals into the landscaping I have an interest in as well.
so having this opportunity to kind of sit with you and hear all of the answers to these questions kind of combined, I'm thinking back to when you asked your 8-year-old self, what do you want to do with the rest of your life type of thing?
Hmm.
And it sounds like you're marrying your love of art, love of needlework, and your business knowledge that you gained from working, with your husband and working for, and they don't know this, but for a magazine as well. You're combining all of that history to create this path moving forward.
Yes, yeah, and the magazine work that I continue to do, that's what's supporting the art right now. And I that kind of goes to another bit of encouragement to other artists. You might have to work a different job. It may or may not be a creative job to support your passion and your dream until there's an income from it. Um, but yeah, I dedicate about 15 hours a month towards being a content coordinator on a magazine, and all the skill sets I've learned, anything I grew up with that was creative in my past, my mom's sewing, my needlework, a little bit of printmaking, kind of hobby printmaking, that all comes into play now. That's all coming back out.
That is so neat and just inspiring because I know so many artists right now, and I remember being this way and still, occasionally get the mindset this way of when is it all going to happen type of thing. But the reality is, like what you're experiencing, what I experience, where all these things are coming into a point, and that point, we don't see it, we might not be living it right now, but it's coming. It's all coming together. Love that. So I'm excited for you in so many ways. I'm
Yeah.
getting chills. Um, so what, now this I know you're really good at, but okay. What are you doing to ensure you continue to grow and develop as an artist?
Allow myself to explore my curiosity. If I'm curious about something, it's like the needleworking and figuring out how to mix that into my watercolors. That's been on the back burner for a couple of years, but it keeps coming back. So this summer, I went and I explored it, and I'm going to continue exploring it because of, you know, discoveries I made about something, trying to remember the right word. I think it's called blackworking, but it was needlework on textile, and it was a black on black kind of needlework, and it's from 1500s time frame. That kind of ties into the Dutch still lifes I've always liked, where there's so much allegory and there are little bugs and dying flowers and whatnot that you're always exploring. I can see all of that getting tied together as a historic piece, but also it's dizzying to think about because of how much details involved in something like that. But when things like that come to mind, I allow myself to explore it through visiting art books, art museums, other artists and what they're doing. And it doesn't matter if it's artists or creatives, it's just giving myself time to explore and then start figuring out how I'm going to pull it all together into a piece. And if it takes me 5 years to do that, it takes me 5 years to get around to that. But the exploration is just allowed to happen.
Wow. So I'm going to ask probably a couple more questions. So, and I think you just really nailed something good there, and it's going to be a quotable. Uh, what is the one piece of advice that you would give to an artist that is considering doing this for a living?
Considering doing this for a living, no, it takes a while. It's a long process to get an income from your art. And like I've said before, you might have to embrace working another part-time job to kind of make ends meet. I'm fortunate that my husband is usually patient in regards to me not making an income at this point, and we can live off of his. But I know there are many artists trying to live off of just their art, that they work another job and they're hustling to have their art in their life. And that is part of it for many people. And that may be something that you have to embrace. But don't give up, because you have something to say. We all have something to say that is meaningful to this world, and we have to find our own way to say it.
Well said. All right, and my last question for you is where can people find you? Where can they find your art?
They can find me under the handle Lisbeth Creative, and Lisbeth is Elizabeth without any vowels. So my website's lisbethcreative.com, and Pinterest is under Lisbeth Creative, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. And so if you look up Lisbeth Creative, you'll probably find me.
Okay. And I'll have all those links in the notes. So, and I'm going to cut this question out right here. Is there anything else that you want to particularly cover?
I think we
I didn't cover challenges. I didn't cover, yeah, I skipped that section. I skipped the finance section. Those are two questions I usually don't, well, I haven't asked before because sometimes I think they're a little bit too personal.
Um, no, I think we've covered everything.
Okay.
Um,
All right. So then I'll close it out. So, uh, well, there we go. All right, so everybody, I want to go check out Elizabeth's work. It is just phenomenal, and I just love the softness of her artwork, inspired by nature and the beauty all around it. And her art is soon to be found, I am pretty darn sure, on a whole bunch of patterns. And go ahead and purchase her products. I'll include all those links down below. If you're looking for a personalized Christmas present, you will actually know the artist right here and go to Society 6, and I'll include that link so you can grab some of her prints and products and know that you are supporting a real live artist. All right, until next time, stay safe, happy, and healthy. And thanks, Elizabeth, for joining us.
and thank you, Stephanie, for having me.
Yeah, happy creating, guys. Bye. All right.